Y'all, Rihanna just did something so surgical, so silent, so devastatingly precise that I had to sit down, close my laptop, open it back up, and read the paperwork 3 times before I could even start recording this video. Because what the softest voice in the Fenty universe just allegedly did to ASAP Rocky is not a breakup. It's not a divorce. It's not even a shakeup. What she allegedly did is a corporate execution, and Rocky is still walking around Phoenix cracking single-man jokes like the ground under his feet isn't already sold. Listen. Bad gal Riri. The Barbados-born mogul. The Fenty founder. The woman who built a $3 billion lingerie empire, while y'all thought she was just changing diapers in an oversized hoodie. She just allegedly signed a single sheet of paper, 1 page, 1 pen, one morning, and reportedly locked ASAP Rocky, aka Rakim Mayers, out of a $3 billion empire. Forever. Not a rumor. Not a tabloid whisper. Paperwork. Real, filed, stamped, Delaware-registered paperwork. And here's what doesn't make sense on the surface. Because if you've been watching her Instagram, she's giving soft mom energy. She's giving Bristol Farms in sunglasses energy. She's giving just a girl with 3 kids energy. But the more I looked into what allegedly happened last Tuesday at 11:42 in the morning on the 3rd floor above 5th Avenue, the less any of that softness added up. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Because if the reports are accurate, Rihanna Robin Fenty didn't just move on from a partner. She allegedly built a legal fortress so airtight that ASAP Rocky can't sue her, can't memoir her, can't docu-series her, can't even walk into a Delaware courtroom in the year 2035 and argue for a strand of Fenty hair. Y'all, let's get into all of this because trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see Rihanna, Rocky, and Drake completely differently. And wait till you hear what her lawyers allegedly filed on page 4, paragraph 7, because that is where this whole thing falls apart for Rocky. The players, the stage, and what the internet is saying. Okay, so let's set the table real quick for anybody who just walked in the door. Rihanna, 37, 9-time Grammy winner, founder of Fenty Beauty, reportedly valued over $2.8 billion, founder of Savage X Fenty, which just reportedly crossed the $3 billion valuation mark, mother of 3, and, according to public records last time anyone checked, technically not legally married to ASAP Rocky in the state of California. That last part becomes important. Stay with me. ASAP Rocky, government name Rakim Mayers, 37, rapper, fashion guy, AWG founder, formerly Puma's golden boy, father of RZA, Riot, and Rocky Irish. And I say father, not husband, on purpose. Because per the reporting circulating right now, that distinction is exactly what her legal team allegedly weaponized. Then there's the ghost in the corner of every Rihanna story since 2010, Aubrey Graham. Drake, the sixth god. The guy who has allegedly been one text message away from that orbit for over a decade. We'll get to him. Trust. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about. The internet is treating this like celebrity gossip. Like it's another, did they break up? TikTok cycle. It's not. If the corporate filings are what the reporting says they are, this is being called a blueprint. A template. Something every powerful woman in music is allegedly about to copy. And that's where it gets messy. Like, messy. The morning of the signature, what's allegedly in the room. Now let me walk y'all through last Tuesday, because the guest list of that alleged conference room tells you everything. And I mean everything. According to the reporting, at 11:42 a.m., in a private conference room 3 floors above 5th Avenue, Rihanna reportedly walked in wearing an oversized cream blazer, no jewelry, no makeup, hair pulled back. This wasn't a photo op. There was no paparazzi tip. There was no Fenty Beauty ambassador tagging along. This was, allegedly, a boardroom. Cold. Quiet. Coordinated. And who was reportedly sitting at that table with her? Number 1, her lead corporate attorney out of Manhattan, a woman who's allegedly restructured deals for Sean Carter, Jay-Z himself, for the Fenty umbrella, and for at least 2 other billionaire pop stars whose NDAs would eat this whole channel alive if I said their names. Number 2, a Delaware-based tax specialist whose entire alleged job description is asset firewalling, reportedly the same specialist who protected Taylor Swift's Masters conversation. Number 3, a family law attorney. Not a divorce attorney. And baby, there is a difference. A divorce attorney fights over what already exists. A family law attorney builds walls around what you refuse to lose. And number 4, the one nobody caught, the one that made my jaw drop when I saw it, a representative from Roc Nation's legal division. which allegedly means Jay-Z's people were in the room, which allegedly means Jay-Z knew, which means the entire empire was coordinating. And where was ASAP Rocky that morning? On a plane to Phoenix, doing an interview, cracking jokes about being a girl dad. He allegedly had no clue the ground was moving under his feet. Tell me how that makes sense. I'll wait. The 3 signatures and the 1 sentence that supposedly did it all. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Rihanna reportedly signed her name 3 times that morning. 3 separate documents. 3 separate blades. Let's break down each one because this is where the corporate execution language starts making sense. Signature 1, an LLC restructure. According to the filings, she added a fresh Delaware LLC on top of the existing Fenty umbrella. And inside the incorporation language, page 4, paragraph 7, there's reportedly 1 sentence. 1. It allegedly reads, any prior spousal or partnership designation attached to any subsidiary of the umbrella trust is now null, void, and superseded by this instrument. Translation? Every piece of paper Rocky ever allegedly signed as her partner? Legally invisible. Retroactively erased. Like it never happened. And I need y'all to really sit with that for a second. Because that's not a breakup clause. That's a time machine. Signature 2, a trust amendment. And this is the big one. She reportedly transferred a piece of prime Los Angeles real estate, a compound the tabloids have been photographing for 2 years, from a joint holding vehicle into a solo trust listed only under her name and the names of her 3 children. RZA. Riot. Rocky Irish. Not ASAP Rocky. Not as co-owner. Not as trustee. Not as beneficiary. Just removed. Signature 3, a backdated prenup writer. Now this is just my take, but this is the part that made every lawyer in the room allegedly go silent for 6 full seconds. Because she and Rocky aren't legally married in California, per public records, so her team reportedly filed a document that says if a wedding ever happens, the terms are already locked. Rocky allegedly gets nothing from Fenty. Nothing from Savage. Nothing from the master recordings. Nothing from the Barbados properties. Nothing. And because it's backdated? Even if he tried to fight it, the paper trail reportedly says he already agreed. She didn't just close the door. She sealed the frame, poured the concrete, and painted over the seam. Are y'all hearing this? The $3 billion math that's not matting for Rocky. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Let's do the outrage math on this real quick, because when you translate these numbers into human terms, it gets stupid. Savage x Fenty, $3 billion valuation, reportedly. Fenty Beauty, $2.8 billion, reportedly. That's $5.8 billion in equity across 2 brands, both allegedly owned by 1 black woman from Barbados. That makes her, reportedly, the first black woman in history with $2 billion companies under 1 name. Not 1. 2. And then you have Fenty Skin, Fenty Hair, the LVMH partnership residuals, the Def Jam masters she allegedly bought back before the tabloids caught the transfer, and the Barbados real estate. Y'all, we are talking about an empire that most Fortune 500 CEOs couldn't map out on a whiteboard. Rocky's alleged claim to any of that? 1 ancillary document. 1 spousal beneficiary line. That's it. That was the drawbridge. And he was allegedly standing on the drawbridge being told the drawbridge was his, and on Tuesday at 11:42, she pulled the drawbridge up. Not down. Up. So now he's on the wrong side of the moat with a live microphone and a Fenty jacket her team is reportedly about to ask him to return. Make it make sense. I'll wait. The pattern, she's done this before. But it gets worse. And this is the part that convinced me the reporting has legs. Because Rihanna's silent move history is not new. This is her whole playbook. This is the woman who allegedly bought her Def Jam masters back, and the media didn't catch it for 11 months. 11 months. She allegedly severed ties with Matt Kemp so quietly that paparazzi only clocked it when they noticed she'd taken off 1 specific bracelet. Hassan Jamil? Reportedly ghosted from her financials with 0 press release, 0 sources close to the couple, just a vanishing. Rihanna does not do the tabloid dance. She does paperwork. And every time she reaches for a pen, an entire chapter of her life reportedly closes forever. She reached for a pen 3 times last Tuesday. That's not a mood. That's a mission statement. Now, I'm not saying she's been planning this since RZA was born, but I'm just asking questions that need answers. Because you don't fly a Delaware asset firewalling specialist into Manhattan on a Tuesday morning by accident. You don't schedule a Roc Nation legal rep to sit next to your family law attorney by accident. You don't draft a backdated prenup writer the night before. Every one of those steps allegedly takes weeks of preparation. Which means, she knew. She knew before Rocky ever stepped on that Phoenix stage. She knew before the Stolia Flow Drake shot ever leaked. She was reportedly 3 moves ahead in a game Rocky didn't even know was being played. The conspiracy nobody wants to say out loud. Now hear me out on this. Because I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm saying the facts, as alleged, don't support the story the tabloids are telling. And I'm just asking questions. And if the answers were simple, they would have answered them already. Where did the Roc Nation legal rep come from? Who scheduled that meeting? Who tipped off the tax specialist? How did Rocky's own attorney allegedly send him quiet emails about paperwork he hadn't signed, and Rocky reportedly ignored them? Who cropped Rocky out of the last Fenty campaign? Why did the LVMH board dinner invitations stop coming in his name? And more importantly, why isn't anybody asking these questions? Because if you look at the last 2 years of her business posture, the untagged Instagram posts, the solo red carpets, the LVMH events she attended alone, the Met Gala looks that no longer echoed his. That was not a couple settling into parenthood. That was allegedly a divorce being staged in slow motion. Every documented absence, every untagged photo, every uncoupled appearance was reportedly a brick in the wall she was already building around him. And by the time he noticed the walls, the house allegedly belonged to somebody else. Now I know some of y'all are going to say I'm reaching. But if you don't find that suspicious, that's more concerning to me than anything else. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. The Drake of it all. Okay, y'all. I have to talk about Drake. Because you didn't click this video to hear about Delaware LLCs, you clicked to hear about Aubrey. So let me give you the piece I've seen circulating that nobody else is contextualizing. Reportedly, 48 hours after those 3 signatures, a black SUV allegedly pulled into the underground parking garage of the exact same Fifth Avenue office building. Out of that SUV, per the accounts I've read, stepped Drake's longtime business manager and a senior partner from OVO's legal division out of Toronto. They were allegedly in the building for 2 hours and 11 minutes. No sign-in on the public registry. No photo op private elevator. To a floor that shares tenants with the corporate attorney who reportedly handled the Fenty restructure. Now I'm not saying Rihanna and Drake are back together. I am not saying that. Let me say it one more time for the algorithm. I am not saying that. What I'm saying is, Drake's business team was allegedly in a building where her corporate attorney has an office 48 hours after she surgically removed ASAP Rocky from her financial empire. Draw your own line. But understand this, Drake has allegedly been circling since Stolia Flow dropped. Rocky bragged on that track about taking her from Drake. Drake never responded on wax. Drake reportedly responded with paperwork. Drake responded with lawyers. Drake responded with silence. And in this industry, Drake's silence is never empty. Drake's silence is scheduled. If you want to know what's happening in celebrity power dynamics, you don't read the tabloids. You watch the elevators. Meanwhile, in Phoenix. And where was Rocky while all of this was allegedly unfolding? On a stage in Phoenix. Wearing a Fenty piece he reportedly didn't pay for. Saying into a live microphone that he was back to being a single man. A line he later tried to walk back, but the clip was already on TikTok with, reportedly, 4.2 million views. The way my JW dropped. Rocky is spiraling, y'all. And on top of that, his last album allegedly underperformed. His tour numbers are reportedly dipping. Tyla, Ira Star, and every young female artist in his orbit are allegedly rising on charts he can't crack. His Puma deal reportedly hasn't renewed at the number he wanted. His AWG brand is allegedly losing footprint at Fashion Week bookings. And here's the part that breaks me. He allegedly still thinks the biggest asset in his life is her love. It's not. The biggest asset in his life was reportedly her legal protection. The unspoken firewall that allegedly stopped every civil suit, every industry blackball, every custody complication before it could ever reach him. And she just removed that firewall, signature by signature, silently, with no press release, no subtweet, no Fenty campaign hint. Rihanna does not warn. Rihanna acts. Tell me I'm not the only one who sees this. The human part, because there are 3 kids in this story. Now let me pull the camera back, because at the end of the day, this is not just a headline. There are 3 little humans in the middle of this. RZA, Riot, Rocky Irish. And whatever y'all think about the parents, those babies didn't ask for a single second of this. As somebody who grew up watching parents split behind closed doors, I gotta say, the fact that she reportedly listed those 3 names on the solo trust and made sure their inheritance is legally untouchable, that's not petty. That's not vindictive. That's a mother building a fortress for her kids that no ex, no lawsuit, no future partner, no bad business quarter can ever punch through. Thank God nobody's been hurt in the visible sense. But there's a quieter kind of hurt here, the kind where a father has to figure out publicly, in real time, that the woman he thought he was building an empire with reportedly finished her blueprint months ago and didn't tell him. And I've said this before about other cases. Think about the way we watched Kanye West spiral through the Kim Kardashian filings. Think about how we're still processing the Diddy investigation fallout. This parasocial obsession we have with celebrity couples? It always allegedly hurts the kids the most. Every time. And that's what I need y'all to sit with. Because the paperwork is dramatic, but the babies are real. The blueprint, why this is bigger than Rocky. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. This story is bigger than Rocky. It's bigger than Drake. It's bigger than Rihanna, honestly. Because her Manhattan corporate attorney allegedly doesn't just represent one client. That attorney has reportedly restructured deals for Jay-Z, for Beyoncé's Parkwood umbrella, for the Roc Nation talent group, and for at least 2 other billionaire pop stars whose NDAs would end careers. Which means the legal move isn't personal. It's a template. Every woman at the top of that Roc Nation umbrella is allegedly now sitting in a boardroom asking her own attorney one question. Can we do what Rihanna just did? And the answer? Reportedly yes. Because the paperwork she filed is public record. Which means every partner, every fiancé, every casual cosigner inside this industry is allegedly about to see the same firewall built around them. That's why this is bigger than Rocky. That's why I keep calling this a blueprint. Rihanna just allegedly handed every powerful woman in music the exact legal recipe to remove a partner from a fortune without a single tabloid ever getting a word of it. That's not gossip. That's a shift in the way celebrity wealth is protected in the 21st century. The 5 Dominoes screenshot this. Now here's what I think is really going on, and here's my silent rollout theory. Rihanna is reportedly not executing a breakup. She's executing a rollout. And rollouts have dominoes. Screenshot this list. I'll wait. Domino 1. A Fenty campaign will drop and Rocky will not be in it. The last 3 campaigns reportedly had him in the background of at least one shot. The next one won't. The marketing team is allegedly reshooting the fall book as we speak. Domino 2, Rihanna will appear at a public event solo in a look so devastating that the internet will collectively lose its mind, and the caption will be a single emoji. She won't comment. She doesn't need to. The image is the statement. Domino 3, an unnamed source will allegedly leak to Forbes or WWD that Savage x Fenty is preparing for an IPO. That leak is reportedly already being staged. The valuation number that leaks will be exactly the number the Fenty camp wants the market to price her at, and Rocky's name will be nowhere near the shareholder table. Domino 4, Drake will allegedly be photographed at a business dinner in New York with someone from her inner circle. It will look accidental. It will not be accidental. Every photograph of Drake in this era is reportedly scheduled. Domino 5, ASAP Rocky will drop a response song. It will underperform. The streaming numbers will limp. The critics will pity review it. And that will reportedly be the moment the entire industry realizes the Rocky era is officially over. Now, I'm not saying I'm psychic. I'm saying watch. Every one of these dominoes is allegedly already tipping. The endgame. The IPO nobody is talking about. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Because you do not restructure a $3 billion Delaware trust just to remove one partner. You restructure a $3 billion Delaware trust because you're about to ADD something. Something bigger. Something that requires the fortress to be fully sealed before the new floor is added. And every source inside the Fenty umbrella is reportedly whispering the same word right now. IPO. Rihanna is allegedly preparing to take Savage x Fenty public. And when that offering hits, the valuation reportedly isn't going to be $3 billion. It's going to be $5 billion. Maybe 6. And she is allegedly going to become the largest single black female shareholder of a publicly traded fashion company in the history of the American Stock Exchange. That is the endgame. That's the reason Rocky had to go. Because you cannot take a company public with an unresolved spousal beneficiary attached to an ancillary document. So she reportedly cleaned the ledger, sealed the fortress, prepared the ground, and now she's about to plant a flag on Wall Street that no woman in music has ever planted before. Y'all. This is not a divorce story. This is a power story. Because a divorce ends a marriage. What she allegedly did ends a possibility. The close, what I need from y'all. Okay. Let's recap the questions we still don't have answers to, because I know y'all caught something I didn't. 1. Did she know 6 months ago, or did Rocky's Phoenix microphone moment trigger the ambush? 2. Was Drake's business team really in that building 48 hours later on purpose, or is that a coincidence the algorithm loves? 3. Is the IPO actually coming, or is that leak going to stay a whisper? 4. Will Rocky's alleged response song even chart? And 5. Who is next? Because if this is a blueprint, somebody else is about to run it. This story is still developing, and trust me, I'm watching every move. Every filing. Every campaign. Every SUV that pulls into a Fifth Avenue garage. Drop your theory in the comments below. I read everything, and the best comment gets pinned. If you haven't watched the Stolia Flow breakdown from a couple weeks ago, go watch that one, because this story makes so much more sense when you see that story lined up next to it. And when the next domino drops, the Fenty campaign without him, the IPO leak, the Drake dinner, whatever hits first, I'll be right here. You already know. Stay safe out there. Stay informed. Protect your paperwork like Rihanna protects hers. And always remember, now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye. All commentary is alleged. This is entertainment and opinion. No claims of fact are made about any named individual. Support creators.